7:44 here on this Friday morning. Every Friday morning, right around this time, we welcome in representatives from the Elgin Police Department, and also Michael Green comes in the studio, takes from the new studio. So I'll pass it on over to Michael Green. Here's Friday at the Fuzz.
Thank you, Derek. In studio with us this Friday morning, as most every Friday, Elgin Chief of Police Jeff Svoboda. Thank you, Jeff, for coming in this morning. And also we have Matt says, I want to get it out. It's Saselznick. Saselznick. I did the end. I added the letter. It's like you said last week. So, Matt, we're just going to call you by your first name, Matt.
That's fine.
You are an animal control officer for the Elgin Police Department, and I know we've been talking a lot about. There's been a lot of talk as well on social media, not just from the Elgin Police, but I've seen other people putting it out there as well. That with the summer, right, and weather getting warmer, your pets are really in danger. And I saw a thing where a lady had left a child in a car, for a short period of time, and came back and the child was dead. And I don't know if that was, I don't think that was Elgin for sure, and it wasn't in Illinois even, I think so. But the dangers of that, and we'd like to talk about that. But Jeff, I do want to start with, we wrapped up a case, Elgin did, something that happened back in, was it 2011, in October of 2011, shooting apparently by a couple of gang members, or one former gang member maybe, and this was the Hernandez case, Miguel Hernandez Jr., and also Eric Galarza Sr. Evidently was the target, but unfortunately it struck Eric Galarza Jr., who was a 5-year-old boy in the car that was struck by the bullet. And this wrapped up, and I was hoping you could talk about the case a little bit. He fled for a period of time. I think he was down in Texas or something, if I remember correctly, or out of state. Yeah. If you can just talk about the case a little bit, the investigation portion of it, and just tie up that loose end there.
Well, yeah, this was back in October 2011. I had the call of a shooting that occurred, and inside a fully loaded vehicle of adults and children.
It was the son, his wife, the mother,
right? The mother,
an aunt, and like 2 siblings, and 5 or 6 people in the car.
And the youngster was struck and eventually died. And we actually identified Hernandez pretty quickly. Our gang unit did a fantastic job. I know Tom Wilk was lead investigator on it, but everybody jumped in and helped. Sergeant Lula, everybody was involved in it. And eventually, I think pretty close to within a week, we were able to charge Hernandez. And this case just wrapped up this past week, and guilty on all offenses, and will be up for sentencing in the coming months. So the community came forward. I know we had some various tips that came forward and witnesses that had to be there, but this was a lot of good old-fashioned police work that we were able to put together multiple sources of information, not to mention just the information we have with gang members that we continuously monitor, and eventually we're able to put together a solid case that we're able to get a conviction. So, very sad day for obviously the community and for the family. Here's a 5-year-old, nothing to do with it. However, the adults chose to live their lives, but was killed, and some semblance of justice, I guess, by having the killer convicted. So, great work by the police department, and close a sad chapter for Elgin.
The case, in this case, with having someone who, the gang members, were these, and I know you've got like a list of
7 to 7:30.
Was that list, I mean, are there rival gangs? Can you speak to the gang issues? Maybe just, there's more than one in Elgin, obviously, I'm guessing, because, this is going on, and were you able to determine from that list? I mean, do you go to that often and look at it and say, okay, well, here's what we've got, and we know this person has an issue with this? I mean, your gang officers are pretty not deep into it, but they know these folks very well, right?
Yes. Yeah, the gang members in town many times make no bones about the fact that they're gang members. They have tattoos, the way they dress a certain way, graffiti, hang out with other gang members involved in criminal activities. We've sued gang members where that was the civil lawsuit we've talked about multiple times. Actually, 2 different gangs, and show up in court and again make no bones about that they're involved in a gang. So our gang unit spends a lot. That's their job, to make sure they know who are all the gang members in Elgin, what cars do they drive, where do they live, where are their girlfriends, where are their boyfriends, whatever it may be, and that's where they spend their time. Because when we have acts of violence like this, we need to take that killer off the street very quickly. I mean, it goes to the level of some people's thinking, not just this case, but general gang crimes. I mean, it just shows the cowardice that's involved with being in a gang. I mean, you're gonna shoot into a carload of women and children, and so that's where it goes. I think as a society, we need to get past the idea that somehow it's cool or it's tough to be involved in a gang. And really, at the end of the day, it's a coward's way out of being involved in a gang that you can't handle on your own, so you get involved with a group of other people that act like this. So it was a great arrest in general, and good job by our gang unit.
Had a busy week as well. A couple things I wanted to talk about was gentleman golfing, and there were some juveniles evidently that attacked him. Was this at a golf course or at a green somewhere?
It was out in Wing Park.
At Wing Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in the golf course, but in the park itself.
In the park itself.
Just a gentleman practicing his chip shot. 87 years old, I believe, and out practicing his chip shot, and a couple of, I think it was a couple of 15-year-olds and a 16-year-old chose to try to commit a robbery and hit the man and struck him about his head and body, and he was able to get away and contact us, and great job by our day shift patrol officers, which were eventually able to go and identify the kids, brought them back, identified.
Am I remembering this correctly? Am I confusing? Did he actually get a plate from the car? Or no, they weren't in a car, right? They were
on foot. He got in
his car. He got a good description? He got in his car. He got away and got in his car.
He got in his car and was able to contact us, and we were able to find the suspects and get them identified.
Pretty
and
quickly
get charges.
too, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And so it was a good arrest. Again, I mean, 15-year-old. I mean, you think about the mindset. 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds.
My son's 15. I can't imagine him walking into a
90-year-old man, 87-year-old man, and you're gonna beat him up. I mean, that's a police issue for us to make an arrest, but that's a societal issue as well. That why 15-year-olds would even think about doing something like that with a 90-year-old guy. So sickening. A great arrest, and hopefully we can get these kids back on the right path, because they need to be straightened out. I mean, that's a problem right there. So good arrest, and this will be going to court in the future.
The other one was there was an SUV that struck a boy who was riding his bike, evidently in a crosswalk. The boy was not clear off the vehicle, according to this, but his bike got stuck on the underside of the SUV. Later, the officers found the SUV about a mile away, with the bike still underneath it. I think the gentleman himself was treated, or the individual from the bike was treated for scratches and soft tissue injuries, it says. Mm-hmm. The 24-year-old man who was arrested, Stephen Vaughn, did turn himself in eventually, but is also charged with, I guess, fleeing the scene of the accident. Right. Can you talk a little bit about, maybe not this case necessarily specifically, because it's still in the courts, I understand how that works, but some of the charges, do you decide, I mean, is it every charge possible? Even though he turned himself in, is there ever a thought, well, maybe we shouldn't charge him with that? I mean, he did come forward. He didn't have to. Well, he had to, right, but he could have not. I don't know, like, I'm kind of torn on this one,
Yeah, and one thing we need to realize, too, is when we charge people, it's to get them before a judge. And then those types of, what they did directly after, what were the reasons they did what they did, that's when it's mostly, that's taken into account at that point. And a judge or a jury then looks at the evidence and says, whether or not that's reasonable or not reasonable. But what we generally do within the police department is look at the actions of people, and then what's the law, and then we make an arrest or we don't make an arrest. It's not to say we don't have some leeway in between there and some discretion as far as where we would cut somebody, okay, well, this happened, so by the letter of the law it might be against the law, but because of this, we don't feel we can prove that case. And we work with state's attorneys when we call in for, if it's going to be a felony, we have to get their approval. So it's, when you are involved in an accident, and especially an injury accident, you have to stay there, and you have to call the police, and you have to wait and provide aid and provide your information when the police come. And if you don't do that and you leave, in this case, and I don't know anything of the specifics of this, but he did eventually come back down to the police department. So whether or not that will come into play, I'm sure it will. And but that's for in court. The fact he didn't stay there for the initial portion, and that's why he was charged with it.
So I think, explained it perfectly then. So it's not your job to be the courts and to be the prosecuting attorneys and stuff like that. Here's what he did. Here's what happened. This is what we'll charge that person with, and it'll be sorted out in court.
Exactly, and everybody deserves, that's why we put these press releases out, and we put it at the bottom, arrested is not proof of guilt, and people, they get their day in court, and at that point, then they can say why they did what they did. I know we're going to be getting to Matt in a minute, but that's a big part with, with animal cases and what people do. I mean, we look at it, and we look at what's reasonable, what's not reasonable, and we make an arrest, or we write citations, and then they have their day in court. But many times people aren't happy with the arrests we make or the charges we charge them with, and again, we tell them, that's for you to tell to the judge, But yeah, we look at the facts, and we make arrests based on that.
And I wanted to lead from that because, kid riding his bike and the weather's getting nice, and it's that time of year. People go out and about and bring their pets with them sometimes, right?
Yes, they do.
And they want to stop into a store or leave their pet in the car. And I just watched a video that was linked to the City of Elgin's webpage, where a veterinarian basically went and sat inside a car with all 4 windows down and left those down about almost 2 inches in some cases, around the car. And there was a nice breeze outside, and it was sunny. It got excruciatingly hot within a half hour, where they were showing the vet on the video. He was drenched in soak and drenched in sweat, and dogs can't sweat, animals can't sweat, right? And that's something sometimes you don't think about. Like, I don't. That's why they pant so heavily, right?
Absolutely. They have an inability to cool themselves like humans, where they don't have sweat glands. They cool themselves through their mouth and their saliva and drawing air over that saliva. So now you add on a coat of fur, and their inability to cool themselves is just drastically different than humans.
You've got some literature, looks like, that you may be putting out and about town, maybe? Is this
We have
right?
actually, yeah. We've actually, we got, last Thursday, we had a group of volunteers from our Explorers Post here with the police department, and with our Citizens Police Academy and our Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association. We went out and distributed posters to area businesses, and we've done some social media informational blasts out with Facebook and the city's webpage. We're working with some other agencies about some different email blasts. I know Elgin Community College did an email blast to all their students and faculty about this program that we came up with, and it's just been great. We're just trying to get the word out.
Too Hot for Spot is what it's called. I'm looking at one of the charts that's provided on the sheet that you guys put together, and it's a beautiful day. High today is supposed to be 75. It's gorgeous. I might not even turn off the air conditioning. You open the windows, put a fan on, get some air circulating through the house, whatever, right? 75. Within 10 minutes, according to this chart, it could get up to 94 degrees in a car.
Absolutely, and those numbers, it can change drastically with the color of your interior vehicle if you're parked in the shade or the sun. Parking in the shade and ventilating your windows just doesn't have that much of an effect, but it could definitely make, if you don't, it could make it even hotter faster. So it's just people don't realize, running in the store for a quick item, everybody's done it where that 5-minute trip can turn into a half hour pretty easily. And we just don't realize, the majority of people I've always run across in my years with the department they would never do anything to hurt their animals, but they don't realize the danger that they're actually placing their animals in just for that short amount of time.
These are the same folks that ride with the little dogs on their lap while they're driving.
Yes.
I mean, these are members of their family, right? I mean, I know how I feel about my pets. I mean, they're extensions of my family. They're my kids,
Absolutely, and we all love our pets. It's we do have these cases every year in town, and the majority of the responses I get, I would never do anything to harm a pet. I would never put it in danger, and nobody wants to hurt their pet, but they just don't realize what they're doing, and that's why, as a department, we want to educate the people, and hopefully, if we can prevent one tragic incident from happening, this whole campaign will be worth it. And luckily, we haven't had any deaths that I know of while I've been with the department, but I'd like to keep it that way.
I was watching that video, again, on cityofelgin.org. You can go to the policing tab, and there's that video there. My current position, I have to drive between different locations, and sometimes before I go into one of the locations, I have to access, my iPad and get some information. Sometimes write a little report, review some of the numbers for the facility before I go in, and sometimes I'll be sitting there with my car off, and my window's all the way open because that's the way I drove there, And within 10 minutes, I'm thinking to myself, man, I gotta turn my car back on and put the air on. It's hot in here. And that's me, and I have the ability to sweat. But I don't want to walk in somewhere soaked in sweat, you know. That really kind of hit it home for me after watching the video, like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Even though it's 70 outside, and this chart has 70, within 10 minutes, it could be 89 degrees in your car. It just...
And it's a wonderful thing to have that ability to turn your car on, your
Yeah.
conditioning back on, or even open a door and get out of the car. And unfortunately, the animals just don't have those capabilities.
And the stress it provides too. I know that was part of it.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, they're hot and that's part of it, but then they're also freaking out. They don't know what's going on. They can't, you know, when's the owner coming back? Like, you know, I'm only gonna be here for a minute, so I'm hot. 30 more seconds, then I'll get out of here. So you're calm about it. But if you don't know how long it's gonna be,
Pet can't open the car door. They can't roll the windows up and turn the air conditioning on. They can't. Yeah.
right. So that's what I'm very proud of. Matt and our animal control unit, you know, him and Jim, they spend so much time really about the education. I mean, their love for animals is obvious, and whenever we do anything in the community about animals, there's no stronger group out in the community than animal rights people. You know, people who are all about their animals. They come out, they help, they volunteer, and so spending a lot of time just making sure people understand that we know you're not trying to harm your pet, but you can, and call in if you see something. If you see something going on, you see an animal in a car, call us. That's what we're there for, and we'll be out there. And if we need to break a window to save a pet and get some air in there, we will. Obviously, we want to find the owner first and just have them come out and do it. But we get these calls routinely, and we have the means to get inside cars and get people or animals the air that they need so they can survive. So, and on that note, we just have another case that I know Matt's working on as well, where if you hear anything or a dog, you know, dog's abandoned, now there's foreclosed homes, sometimes people can't take their dogs with them, call us. Very sad case where animals ended up, you know, dying inside a house because the owners just left the house and left the dogs. And what a sad, cruel way for an animal to die is just to be left inside an abandoned house. And so we're working on that. We believe we'll be pushing this forward to get felony charges. I know Commander Lally's working on it as well, and with the state's attorney's office. But you know, there are some people who do it unintentionally, and then there's other people who just, what were you thinking? How do you leave dogs alone in an abandoned house and somehow think they'll figure it out? And so those people absolutely should be arrested and charged. If we can get felony charges, we will, because what a cruel way for an animal to die is that way, just left abandoned. So Matt does, again, I was just talking with Matt off air before this, we'll hear more about this case probably in the future, but just a sad case, and probably one of the, I know, the worst. I only saw the pictures, but you can see through the pictures what it smelled like, I'm sure, and it was a very tough scene to go in and see some dead dogs that in an abandoned house. Very, very sad, but Matt and these guys do a great job to make sure we have very few of those cases that come up every year.
Matt, did you have anything else that you wanted to bring up about this? Just awareness piece or telephone number to reach you at if anything happens?
You know, if you do see an animal left in a car, you know, at a shopping center or whatever, you know, just assess the weather conditions. Even if it's a 70-degree day, that temperature can get pretty hot in the car. And get a description of the vehicle, license plate number, and you know, location where it's at in the parking lot, so we can find the car and give us a call. The non-emergency number is 847-289-2700. Or if it's the animal appears in dire distress, absolutely use 911.
Great. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Enjoy the lovely weather. Don't sit in your car too long today.
Thanks for having us, and publicly want to thank Matt and for bringing forward this Too Hot for Spot campaign. People will see those posters all over, and go to our Facebook page. It's all over our Facebook page as well. So,
excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
You're listening to AM 1410, WRMN.
In Elgin.